Hi guys, it's Vespa here. Welcome to my channel. If you're brand new, thanks for stopping by and I hope you like what you see and consider subscribing. And if you're just returning, thanks for popping by. For today's video, I am doing a challenge hosted by Coffee with My Sunshine, Casey at Coffee with My Sunshine. She hosts these challenges every month and it's a trash to treasure challenge. It's basically using your trash or recyclables to create treasures. If you haven't checked out Casey's channel, please be sure to check it out. She does a ton of DIYs, home decor, trash to treasure things. She's really creative. So please check her channel out. She also has another channel, which is Life, Love, and Laundry. And this one, she does all of her cooking, cleaning recipes, and shopping and stuff like that on there. So check out that channel as well. She is hosting with Jessica over at Measure and Mix, and Jessica also has DIY, trash to treasure, home decor, makeovers, and stuff like that. Another creative lady, so please be sure to check her out as well. So for my trash items, I used an old cream of wheat container as well as one of those trays where plants come in. So stick around and I will show you what I did with them. So for my trash to treasure today, I'm going to be using this plant tray. So I had bought a whole bunch of plants for my vegetable garden and the little pots came in here and I just didn't want to recycle it or throw it out because I thought it was a cute little tray, either for outdoors or indoors. It's not the strongest tray, so it's just decorative. But yeah, so it's nice, it's black. It is sturdier than a lot of them, but it's not like, you know, you could carry heavy things in it and use it like a serving tray. And I get so many of these little pots and trays and stuff like that, and I feel so bad recycling them or even throwing them out. Some of them you can't even recycle. So I'm always trying to think of ways that I can reuse them. So I'll just show you one way that I reuse this one. I'm still working on ways to reuse seedling trays and the little pots. I mean, obviously I can reuse them for seedlings and all those things, but I'm trying to think of creative ways. So stay tuned and you can see what I've done. So I apologize for not filming myself spray painting this, but what happened was my phone overheated because it was outside and it stopped recording. So I only have like the first, I don't know, not even second of it where I'm just trying to get the camera ready. So here's what it looks like painted. I did 2 coats of it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just adding a little bit of black just to make it a bit more aged or distressed. So the black that I'm using is the charcoal from Rust-Oleum, and actually, because I didn't show you, I used the Rust-Oleum, there we go, paint, and I spray painted this on here, this white. I find that it covers really well, and I really didn't even have to do 2 coats on the whole thing, just on some spots that I missed, because as I've said before, when you're spray painting you don't want to do like too heavy of a coat on anything because then it'll run. And then, so like I said, what I'm doing is I'm using the Rust-Oleum charcoal, and I just have it in a cup like this because I had very little left and I was worried it would dry out. So this cup is perfect. And then you just, when you're distressing, depending on how dark you want it, but I don't want it to be that dark, so I just wipe off a little bit on the on just like a rag or a paper towel or whatever you have. So then I'm just going, like the edges I'm going to do a little bit more, but it's really very random of how I do it. No really method for this one. I'm just really doing it completely random because I want this tray to kind of look like it's seen many things. It's been around for a long time. So now usually I kind of do this and then I might go back to the white if I feel like I've added too much. Sometimes I wind up adding brown just depends on kind of the look I'm going for. And I don't ever actually know until like the piece is somewhat done. And then I think, oh, okay, so this is what I wanted it to look like. This is really personal preference. So, oops, see in there, I added a bit more than, oops, there we go, a bit more than I wanted to, but that's okay. Actually gonna wipe it off. Hopefully I still can. Yep, came right off. And sometimes you can just wipe it off and then it does its own thing. And the reason, so I kind of two reasons why I want this to look more distressed. It is black underneath. So if ever the white paint were to come off, it won't show as much if, you know, I won't have to go around and fix it or anything like that, because I do hope to kind of use it for like a display thing outside. So I think I'm going to put my pots in it is what I'm planning on doing. So that means it may or may not get a little bit wet. So over time the paint may come off, but so this way it won't be so obvious that it came off. Let's see, I added too much here as well. There we go. That's coming off nice. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. And so I had some jute rope or cord or whatever you want to call it. I kind of always have it on hand. So here it is. So it just looks like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some handles with the jute rope. So I actually did not like the way the jute rope was looking for the handles. I decided I had this laying around, so I decided to use this. I probably bought it a long time ago for a different project, but I think the handles will look really nice. I'm not sure, I may put a little bit of black in there just to get them to look the same, but I think that'll look really nice. So I was originally going to hot glue this, but then I decided that, you know, just tying it would actually make it look really nice. So what I wound up doing is just tying this into 2 knots, and I'll show you how I do the next handle. But I think it turned out really nice. Hasn't turned out yet, I'm not done, but I think it's looking really nice. Or it's looking exactly the way I planned for it to look. So all I'm doing is I'm leaving enough to make 2 knots. So I'm just literally making knots. Maybe someone has a different way of doing this, but this is just a decorative tray. It's not hard enough to be like an actual tray, so it's not really that big of a deal if this isn't like the most sturdiest handle there is. And I'm eyeballing, thinking that's looking about the same. And then I do a double knot here, just like that. And then I cut off so it's about the same amount. Okay. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then I just move the knot to the other side. Same with this. And there we have it. For the next project, I apologize because I painted this little container together with the tray, and that's when my camera stopped working. So I took the sticker off and I painted it white. The container is a cream of wheat container, just like a little small one. You can see how big it is. And what I did was I spray painted it with the same white as I did the other one. And again, I apologize for not having a picture of that. So what I'm going to do with this one as well, I'm going to distress it a bit. just like, really just like around the edges, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit, but I'm gonna do like heavy around the edges and then a little bit less on the actual container. So like by edges I mean the lid, and there we go. Because I'm not quite liking that it's looking so like, so I often do this where I just kind of buff it out a bit. Oops. And for this one, I was mentioning for the other one, for this one I think I'm going to add a little bit of cocoa. But I want to first, because it's going to be a tea container, I want to write tea on it first. There's my tea. And then I'm going to continue distressing it. There. There we go. And I'm going to get some cocoa from Annie Sloan. I'm going to apply a little bit of that too. So I decided not to use cocoa by Annie Sloan, but rather this espresso by Art Minds. This is from Michael's. So there we go. And dab it off on here a little bit, and then more on my little rag. There we go. And again, just lightly brush. And this just has a bit of a brown to it. I mean, obviously it's espresso, so I think it'll just add to it a bit, make it look a little more distressed. I really want this, I wanted this to look very distressed, so originally I just wanted it to be white, but I wasn't looking the way and I'm adding the brown because I think it gives it a bit of extra rustic feel, and just I really wanted this to be distressed. That's the look I was going for. Originally I wanted it to be just white, but you can see here all of these little lines, there's a lot of texture to it, so I wouldn't have been able to get it like the perfect white that I had in mind, so I changed my mind and I actually, whoops, I did not apply the paint so that it would be perfect because I knew it would be way too hard to try and get it to be perfect. So I went with perfectly imperfect, which is what I do often. And I just realized that there isn't enough stuff at the bottom here, so it kind of looks like it just stopped, so I'll just continue it at the bottom too. And there you have it. There's the little tea container. So here are the pieces unstyled. I'll show you how I've styled them, and you can actually see that at the beginning of the video as well. But here they are, just the way they look on their own. So as you can see, like, this isn't distressed too heavily, just a little bit. This one is quite a bit more. Tell me which one you like better. So here's the finished product. And it gets a cute little tea holder. Now obviously I've like lifted these up a little bit, but you can Fit quite a bit of tea in there. You can close it, you can leave it open, whatever you want. But it's a cute little container, and I've reused something that would have gone in the trash normally. My hope is to get a whole set of things that I've reused from food containers to be other containers for stuff in my kitchen. So for coffee, for tea, for flour, for all sorts of things. And then they all match without me having to spend a fortune on them. So here's the tray with the handles. So as you can see, again, it's just decorative. I've put my flowers in there, a little sign I previously made, and I think it's a perfect little decorative tray. Like I said, if you wanted to just have something, and you could even put a little bit of waterproofing at the bottom if if you're worried about the your pot's not holding in the water, so you could put a little clear film on there, and then that way they won't leak on your table or on your wood. But love the tray. I think it turned out really nice. Little handles. I can fit quite a bit. So if you liked what you saw, please give me a big thumbs up, and do consider subscribing if you're not subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you can see more videos. Make sure you check out the playlist. There's going to be some super creative, talented creators who are going to do amazing things with recyclables and trash. Make sure you check out Casey's channel. Make sure you check out Measure and Mix, Coffee with My Sunshine and Measure and Mix. And check out the videos that I've posted here that I thought you might enjoy. Thanks for stopping by, and have an excellent day and stay safe.